Welcome, everybody. This is Alan with Daily Armour of God. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you're all doing well. This is reading the Old Testament chronologically in 111 days, and we're on day 26. And today we'll be reading Numbers 28 through 33. So, without further ado, let's jump right into Numbers chapter 28, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel, and say unto them, My offering and my bread for my sacrifices made by fire for a sweet savour unto me shall ye observe to offer unto me in their due season. And thou shalt say unto them, This is the offering made by fire which ye shall offer unto the Lord, 2 lambs of the first year without spot day by day for a continual burnt offering. The one lamb shalt thou offer in the morning, and the other lamb shalt thou offer at even. And 10th part of a ephah of flour for a meat offering, mingled with the 4th part of a hin of beaten oil, is a continual burnt offering which was ordained in Mount Sinai for a sweet savour, a sacrifice made by fire unto the Lord. And the drink offering thereof shall be the 4th part of a hin of for the one lamb. In the holy place shalt thou cause strong wine to be poured unto the Lord for a drink offering. And the other lamb shalt thou offer at even, as the meat offering of the morning, and as the drink offering thereof thou shalt offer it, a sacrifice made by fire, of a sweet savour unto the Lord. And on the 7th day 2 lambs of the first year without spot, and 2/10 deals of flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil, and the drink offering thereof. This is the burnt offering of every Sabbath, beside the continual burnt offering, and this is the drink offering. So if you have noticed already, this is kind of like a recap of what we already read, of what was already said at Mount Sinai. It's like God's telling Moses again what to tell the children of Israel, because it's been a while since they heard this, and they really need to be told over and over again, because they fall into bad stuff a lot. And in the beginning of your months ye shall offer a burnt offering unto the Lord, 2 young bullocks and 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without spot, and 3/10 deals of flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil, for 1 bullock, and 2/10 deals of flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil, for 1 ram, and a several 10th deal of flour mingled with oil for a meat offering to 1 lamb, for a burnt offering of a sweet savour, a sacrifice made by fire unto the Lord. And their drink offering shall be a half a hin of wine unto a bullock, and a 3rd part of a hin unto a ram, and 4th part of a hin unto a lamb. This is the burnt offering of every month throughout the months of the year. And the 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering unto the Lord shall be offered beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. And the 14th day of the first month is the Passover of the Lord. And the 15th day of the month is the feast. 7 days shall unleavened bread be eaten, and the first day shall be a holy convocation. Ye shall do no manner of servile work therein, but ye shall offer a sacrifice made by fire for a burnt offering unto the Lord, 2 young bullocks, 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year. They shall be unto you without blemish. And their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil. 3/10 deals shall ye offer for a bullock, 2/10 deals for a ram. A several 10th deal shalt thou offer for every lamb throughout the 7 lambs, and 1 goat for a sin offering to make an atonement for you. You shall offer these beside the burnt offering in the morning, which is for a continual burnt offering. After this manner shall you offer daily throughout the 7 days the meat of the sacrifice made by fire of a sweet savour unto the Lord. It shall be offered beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. And on the 7th day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work. Also on the day of the first fruits, when ye bring a new meat offering to the Lord, after your weeks be out, ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work, but ye shall offer the burnt offering for a sweet savour unto the Lord, 2 young bullocks, 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year, and their meat offering of flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deals unto 1 bullock, 2/10 deals unto 1 ram, several 10th deal unto 1 lamb throughout the 7 lambs, and the 1 kid of the goats to make an atonement for you. You shall offer them beside the continual burnt offering and his meat offering. They shall be unto you without blemish in their drink offerings. Numbers 29. And in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work. It is a day of blowing the trumpets unto you. And ye shall offer a burnt offering for a sweet savour unto the Lord, 1 young bullock, 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year without blemish. And their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deals for a bullock, and 2/10 deals for a ram, 1/10 deal for 1 lamb throughout the 7 lambs, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering to make an atonement for you. Beside the burnt offering of the month, and his meat offering, and the daily burnt offering, and his meat offering, and the drink offerings according unto their manner, for a sweet savor, a sacrifice made by fire unto the Lord. And you shall have on the 10th day of the 7th month a holy convocation. You shall afflict your souls. You shall not do any servile work, any work therein. But you shall offer a burnt offering unto the Lord for sweet savor, 1 young bullock, 1 ram, and 7 lambs of the first year, and they shall be unto you without blemish. And their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deals to a bullock, and 2/10 deals to 1 ram. Several 10th deal for 1 lamb throughout the 7 lambs, 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, beside the sin offering of atonement, and the continual burnt offering and the meat offering of it, and their drink offerings. And on the 15th day of the 7th month you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work, and you shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. And you shall offer a burnt offering, a sacrifice made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord, 13 young bullocks, 2 rams, 14 lambs of the first year. They shall be without blemish. And their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil, 3/10 deals unto every bullock of 13 bullocks, 2/10 deals to each ram of the 2 rams, and several 10th deal to each lamb of the 14 lambs, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, his meat offering, and his drink offering. And on the 2nd day you shall offer 12 young bullocks, 2 rams, 14 lambs of the first year without spot, and their meat offering and their drink offerings for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs shall be according to their number after the manner. And the 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering and the meat offering thereof, and their drink offerings. And on the 3rd day 11 bullocks, 2 rams, 14 lambs of the first year without blemish, and the meat offering and the drink offerings for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs shall be according to their number after their manner. And 1 goat for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, and his meat offering, and his drink offering. And on the 4th day 10 bullocks, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year without blemish. Their meat offering and their drink offerings for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs shall be according to the number after the manner. And 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, his meat offering, and his drink offering. And on the 5th day 9 bullocks, 2 rams, 14 lambs of the first year without spot. And their meat offering and the drink offerings for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs shall be according to their number after the manner. And 1 goat for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, and his meat offering, and his drink offering. On the 6th day 8 bullocks, 2 rams, 14 lambs of the first year without blemish. And their meat offering and their drink offerings for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs shall be according to their number after the manner. And 1 goat for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, his meat offering, and his drink offering. And on the 7th day 7 bullocks, 2 rams, and 14 lambs of the first year without blemish. And their meat offering and their drink offerings for the bullocks, for the rams, and for the lambs shall be according to their number after the manner. And 1 goat for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, his meat offering, and his drink offering. On the 8th day you shall have a solemn assembly. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer a burnt offering, a sacrifice made by fire, of a sweet savor unto the Lord, 1 bullock, 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without blemish. Their meat offering and their drink offerings for the bullock, for the ram, and for the lamb shall be according to their number after the manner. And 1 goat for a sin offering, beside the continual burnt offering, and his meat offering, and his drink offering. These things ye shall do unto the Lord in your set feast, beside your vows, and your freewill offerings, and your burnt offerings, and for your meat offerings, and for your drink offerings, and for your peace offerings. And Moses told the children of Israel according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. Man, I just want to say, thank you, Lord, for dying on the cross for our sins, for shedding your blood for us, if we're trusting in that blood. Because look at all this stuff that you had to do back in these days, right? And all the blood of the animals that was shed could never fully cover you. It could only cover your past sins. So, and it's so hard. It's hard work, like so much work. So much painstaking work to do all this stuff and to keep all these things and all the different things and rules and laws and just so many things. So, yeah, we're truly blessed that all we really have to do is just trust in the Lord Jesus Christ with all our heart, trust in the blood of Christ, and that He, shed His blood for us, and that He died for us, took our place for us, made reconciliation for us back to God. All we have to do is trust and have faith in Him, in the blood shed, and that's it. Our blood will cover us, and we'll be able to go to heaven when we pass. So yeah, it just makes you really grateful reading these things, like, you know, that grateful that we're in our position today. So Numbers 30, which, by the way, you should be grateful not just for that, which is an amazing thing. Salvation is an amazing thing. You should always be joyful for that and grateful for that every day. But the Bible tells us to be thankful in every situation, be thankful for everything, and be content with what we have. So no matter what day it is, we need to be thankful for everything that God has given us, that God has done for us, that God's doing for us, that God will do for us. So yeah, message is be thankful. Numbers 30. And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. Yeah, this is actually a good general rule of thumb here. Not just talking about vows, but if you say you're going to do something, do it, right? Be a man. Do it. If you say you're going to help somebody here or do something there, do it. Don't just use idle words. Like that's one thing that God doesn't like it, and I'm sure we all don't like it. If you promise something, even if you don't promise something, but say you'll do something, do it. Very important. Or don't say it all. If you're not going to follow through with your promise, or you mean it in vain, or you mean it superficially, don't even say it. If a woman also vow a vow unto the Lord, and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth, and her father hear her vow, and her bond wherewith she hath bound her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vows shall stand, every bond wherewith she hath bound her soul shall stand. But if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth, not any of her vows, or her bonds wherewith she hath bound her soul shall stand, and the Lord shall forgive her, because her father disallowed her. And if she had at all a husband, when she vowed, or uttered aught out of her lips wherewith she bound her soul, and her husband heard it, and held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vow shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. Yeah, here's another thing I want to point out. Vows. Man, people take vows so lightly, I've noticed, in our world, in today's day and age. A vow is a vow for a reason. A vow should be taken extremely seriously, like so seriously that it's like a life or death thing. If you vow your life to somebody, like for instance marriage, you better mean it. It's in God's eyes it should be forever. You see this craze today about like less and less people getting married, more and more people getting divorced over the stupidest things, littlest things. Now I'm not saying that all divorce is bad, because obviously it's not so black and white. Divorce is bad. The Bible talks about divorce, how you shouldn't, and that's not how God intended. But there are exceptions, like with everything else. There are exceptions, and the biggest exception is adultery, right? Adultery and things like that, but also abuse. So I'm not going to get into that topic of debate now. My point is that vows are serious business. So we shouldn't make them lightly. Promises are serious business too, but I feel like a vow is more than a promise. A vow is something that you should take extremely seriously. And if you vow something to your wife or to your husband, you should fulfill it, no matter how hard it is, because it is a vow. God doesn't like seeing vows broken, or promises for that matter. But to me, vows are stronger than a promise. I guess technically it's almost the same thing, but it's just like more. So anyway, my point is keep going. If you made a vow, keep going with it, no matter how hard it is. Okay, so but if her husband disallowed her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips wherewith she bound her soul of none effect, and the Lord shall forgive her. But every vow of a widow and of her that is divorced, wherewith they have bound their souls, shall stand against her. And if she vowed in her husband's house, or bound her soul by a bond with an oath, and her husband heard it and held his peace at her, and disallowed her not, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband hath utterly made them void on the day he heard them, then whatsoever proceedeth out of her lips concerning her vows, or concerning the bond of her soul, shall not stand. Her husband hath made them void, and the Lord shall forgive her. Yeah, probably a lot of women won't like this verse. But the Bible is clear when it says the husband is the head of the wife. That doesn't mean, that the wife is useless or worthless or weak. Absolutely not. It just means, God has proper roles for everyone, right? Proper roles. Then there's nothing wrong with your role. Absolutely nothing wrong. So, today's world makes it out to be like, oh, we shouldn't have this role and that role and yada, yada, yada. And they want to make their own roles. But God's word is clear. He had from the beginning set roles, right? Adam was the head. Eve was his help that was meet for him, help that he needed. He had that missing piece, and God took a rib out of him. You know the story. Eve was created for Adam as help, as support, basically. And there's nothing wrong with the support position at all. And again, this world makes it out to be like, oh, stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home wives and this and that. That's so like, old school and yada yada yada, and it's bad. And women should do whatever they want and lead the husband and not the other way around. All this other stuff you can get into, I'm not going to get into. But point is, go with what the Bible says, not what the world says. And there's a reason why God made man the head, and it wasn't to say, oh, ha ha, weak woman, listen to the man, or else. It wasn't that. It was more so that God knows each sex's strengths and weaknesses, and they each have a role. Plain and simple. There's nothing wrong with your role or your sex. There's nothing wrong with either or. So that's just how God intended. God. Remember, God intended it that way. So, are you going to go against God, or are you going to go against the world? Now, continuing on. Every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul, her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void. But if her husband altogether hold his peace at her from the day to day, then he establisheth all her vows, or all her bonds which are upon her. He confirmeth them, because he held his peace at her in the day he heard them. But if he shall anyways make them void after that he hath heard them, then he shall bear her iniquity. These are the statutes which the Lord commanded Moses between a man and his wife, between the father and his daughter, being yet in her youth in her father's house. Numbers 31. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Avenge the children of Israel of the Midianites, afterward shalt thou be gathered unto thy people. And Moses spake unto the people, saying, Arm some of yourselves unto the war, and let them go against the Midianites, and avenge the Lord of Midian. Of every tribe 1,000 throughout all the tribes of Israel shall ye send to war. So there were delivered out of the thousands of Israel 1,000 of every tribe, 12,000 armed for war. And Moses sent them to war, 1,000 of every tribe, them and Phinehas the son of Eleazar the priest to the war, with the holy instruments and the trumpets to blow in his hand. And they warred against the Midianites, as the Lord commanded Moses, and they slew all the males. And they slew the kings of Midian, beside the rest of them that were slain, namely Evi, and Rechem, and Zur, and Hur, and Reba, 5 kings of Midian. Balaam also the son of Beor they slew with the sword. And the children of Israel took all the women of Midian. Oh, by the way, remember the whole story about Balaam and Balak? Yeah. That basically Balaam caused, like, what was it? 20,000? I can't remember how many people who got killed because of Balaam tricking the children of Israel, because he wanted riches, despite Balak wanting Balaam to curse the children of Israel. He didn't, but he did tell them a way that they could sin and fall into sin. So Balaam, yeah, he got what was coming to him for sure. And the children of Israel took all the women of Midian captives and their little ones, and took the spoil of all their cattle and all their flocks and all their goods. And they burnt all their cities wherein they dwelt, and all their goodly castles with fire. And they took all the spoil, all the prey, both of men and beasts. And they brought the captives and the prey and the spoil unto Moses and Eleazar the priest, and unto the congregation of the children of Israel, unto the camp at the plains of Moab, which are by Jordan near Jericho. And Moses, Eleazar the priest, and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp. And Moses was wroth with the officers of the hosts, with the captains over thousands and captains over hundreds, which came from the battle. And Moses said unto them, Have ye saved all the women alive? Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor. Yeah, here we go. So it recaps what happened, what we read. And there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. So remember, Balaam used women and men to seduce, I guess is the word, the children of Israel to fall into sin and commit fornication and idolatry and all this other stuff that made a bunch of people die because of Balaam. Obviously they had their own free will choice, right? But it was Balaam's fault. It was their fault too, but you know what I mean. So yeah, there was a plague and it killed thousands. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known man by lying with him. But all the women children that have not known man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. And do ye abide without the camp 7 days. Whosoever hath killed any person, whosoever hath touched any slain, purify both yourselves and your captives on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. And purify all your raiment, and all that is made of skins, and all your works of goat's hair, and all the things made of wood. And Eleazar the priest said unto the men of war which went to the battle, This is the ordinance of the law which the Lord commanded Moses. Only the gold and the silver, the brass, the iron, tin, and the lead, everything that may abide the fire, ye shall make it go through the fire, it shall be clean. Nevertheless, it shall be purified with the water of separation, and all that abideth not the fire, ye shall make go through the water. And as ye shall wash the clothes on the 7th day, and ye shall be clean, and afterward ye shall come into the camp. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the sum of the prey that was taken, both of the man and beast, thou and Eleazar the priest, and the chief fathers of the congregation, and divide the prey into 2 parts, between them that took the war upon them, who went out to battle, and between all the congregation. And levy a tribute unto the Lord of the men of the war which went out to battle, 1 soul of 500, both of persons, and of the beeves, and of the asses, and of the sheep. Take it of their half, and give unto Eleazar the priest for a heave offering of the Lord. And the children of Israel's half thou shalt take 1 portion of 50 of the persons, of all the beeves, the asses, and the flocks, of all manner of beasts, and give them unto the Levites which keep the charge of the tabernacle of the Lord. And Moses and Eleazar the priest did as the Lord commanded Moses. And the booty, being the rest of the prey which the men of war had caught, was 600,000, 70,000, and 5,000 sheep, and 12,000 beeves, 1,000 asses, and 32,000 persons, and all of women that had not known man by lying with him. And the half which was the portion of them that went out to war was in number 300,000, 730,000, and 500 sheep. And the Lord's tribute to the sheep was 615, and the beeves were 30 and 6,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 12. And the asses were 30,500, which the Lord's tribute was 61. And the persons were 16,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 32 persons. And Moses gave the tribute which was the Lord's heave offering unto Eleazar the priest, as the Lord commanded Moses, and the children of Israel's half which Moses divided from the men that warred. Now the half that pertained unto the congregation was 300,000, and 30,000, and 7,500 sheep, and 30 and 6,000 beeves, 30,000 asses, 500, 16,000 persons. Even the children of Israel's half Moses took 1 portion of 50, both of man and beast, and gave them unto the Levites which kept the charge of the tabernacle of the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the officers which were over thousands of the host, over captains of thousands and captains of hundreds, came near unto Moses, and they said unto Moses, Thy servants have taken the sum of men of war which are under our charge, and there lacketh not one man of us. We have therefore brought an oblation for the Lord, that every man hath gotten of jewels of gold, chains, bracelets, rings, earrings, and tablets, to make an atonement for our souls before the Lord. And Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold of them, and even all wrought jewels, and all the gold of the offering that they offered up to the Lord, of the captains of thousands, of the captains of hundreds, was 16,750 shekels. For the men of war had taken spoil every man for himself, and Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold of the captains of thousands and of hundreds, and brought it into the tabernacle of the congregation for a memorial before the children of Israel before the Lord. Numbers 32. Now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle. And when they saw the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead, that, behold, the place was a place for cattle, the children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spake unto Moses, and unto Eleazar the priest, and unto the princes of the congregation, saying, Adaroth and Dibon and Jazer and Nimrah and Heshbon and Eleleh and Shebam and Nebo and Beon, even the country which the Lord smote before the congregation of Israel, is a land for cattle, and thy servants have cattle. Wherefore, said they, if we have found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for possession, and bring us not over Jordan. And Moses said unto the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, Shall your brethren go to war, and ye shall sit here? And wherefore discourage ye the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which God hath given them? Thus did your fathers when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. For when they went up unto the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, they discouraged the heart of the children of Israel, that they should not go into the land which the Lord hath given them. And the Lord's anger was kindled the same time, and he sware, saying, Surely none of the men that came up out of Egypt from 20 years old upward shall see the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, unto Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me. Save Caleb the son of Jephunneh and the Kenizzite, and Joshua the son of Nun, and they have wholly followed the Lord. And the Lord's anger was kindled against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years, until all the generation that had done evil in the sight of the Lord was consumed. And behold, he had risen up in your father's stead, an increase of sinful men, to augment yet the fierce anger of the Lord toward Israel. For if ye turn away from after him, he will again leave them in the wilderness, and ye shall destroy all this people. And they came near unto him and said, We will build sheepfolds here for our cattle, and cities for our little ones, but we ourselves will go ready armed before the children of Israel, until we had brought them unto their place, and our little ones shall dwell in the fenced cities because of the inhabitants of the land. We will not return unto our houses until the children of Israel have inherited every man his inheritance. For we will not inherit with them on yonder side Jordan or forward, because our inheritance is fallen to us on this side Jordan eastward. And Moses said unto them, If ye will do this thing, if ye will go armed before the Lord to war, and will go all you armed over Jordan before the Lord, until he hath driven out his enemies from before him, and the land be subdued before the Lord, then afterward ye shall return and be guiltless before the Lord and before Israel, and this land shall be your possession before the Lord. But if ye will not do so, behold, ye have sinned against the Lord, and be sure your sin will find you out. Build your cities for your little ones, and folds for your sheep, and do that which hath proceeded out of your mouth. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben spake unto Moses, saying, Thy servants will do as my Lord commandeth. And our little ones, our wives, our flocks, and our cattle shall be there in the cities of Gilead. But thy servants will pass over, every man armed for war, before the Lord to battle, as my Lord saith. So concerning them Moses commanded Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun, and the chief fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel. And Moses said unto them, If the children of Gad and the children of Reuben will pass with you over Jordan, every man armed to battle before the Lord, and the land shall be subdued before you, then shall ye give them the land of Gilead for possession. But if they will not pass over with you armed, they shall have the possessions among you in the land of Canaan. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben answered, saying, As the Lord hath said unto thy servants, so will we do. We will pass over armed before the Lord into the land of Canaan, that the possession of our inheritance on this side Jordan may be ours. And Moses gave unto them, even to the children of Gad, and to the children of Reuben, and unto the half tribe of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, the land with the cities thereof, and the coasts, even the cities of the country round about. And the children of Gad built Dibon, and Ataroth, and Aror, and Artaroth, Shophan, and Jazer, and Jogbehah, and Beth Nimrah, and Beth Haran, fenced cities, and folds for sheep. And the children of Reuben built Heshbon, and Eliah, and Kirjathaim, and Nebo, and Balmeon, their names being changed, and Shibah, and gave other names unto the cities which they builded. And the children of Machir, the son of Manasseh, went to Gilead, and took it, and disposed the Amorite which was in it. And Moses gave Gilead unto Machir, the son of Manasseh, and he dwelt therein. And Jair, the son of Manasseh, went and took the small towns thereof, and called them Havoth Jair. And Nobah went and took Kenath and the villages thereof, and called it Nobah, after his own name. And Numbers 33. These are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt with their armies, under the hand of Moses and Aaron. And Moses wrote their goings out according to their journeys, by the commandment of the Lord, and these are their journeys according to their goings out. And they departed from Ramesses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month. On the morrow, after the Passover, the children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians. For the Egyptians buried all their firstborn, which the Lord hath smitten among them. Upon their gods also the Lord executed judgments. And the children of Israel removed from Ramesses and pitched in Succoth, and they departed from Succoth and pitched in Etham, which is in the edge of the wilderness. And they removed from Etham and turned again unto Perharath, which is before Baal-zephon, and they pitched before Migdol. And they departed from before Perath-hoth, and passed through the midst of the sea into the wilderness, and went 3 days' journey into the wilderness of Etham, and pitched in Marah. And they removed from Marah, and came unto Elim. And Elim were 12 fountains of water, 70 palm trees, and they pitched there. And they removed from Elim, and encamped by the Red Sea. And they removed from the Red Sea, and encamped in the wilderness of Sin. And they took their journey out of the wilderness of Sin, and encamped in Dopka. And they departed from Dopka, and encamped in Alush. And they removed from Alush, and encamped in Rephidim. And there was no water for the people to drink. And they departed from Rephidim, and pitched in the wilderness of Sinai. And they removed from the desert of Sinai, and pitched in Kibroth Hattavah. They departed from Kibroth Hattavah, and encamped at Hazeroth. And they departed from Hazeroth, and pitched in Ritmah. And they departed from Ritmah, and pitched in Rimmon Perez. And they departed from Rimmon Perez, and pitched in Libnah. And they removed from Libnah, and pitched in Rissah. And they journeyed from Rissah, and pitched in Kelulath. And they went from Kelalath, and pitched in Mount Shapher. They removed from Mount Shapher, and encamped in Haradah. And they removed from Haradah, and pitched in Machheloth. And they removed from Machheloth, and encamped at Tahath. And they departed from Tahath, and pitched at Terah. And they removed from Terah, and pitched in Mithkah. They went from Mithkah, and pitched in Hashmoth Mona. And they departed from Hashmonah, and encamped at Mesroth. And they departed from Mesroth, and pitched in Ben-Jachan. And they removed from Ben-Jachan, and encamped at Hor-Haggidgad. And they went from Hor-Haggidgad, and pitched in Jotbathah. And removed from Jotbathah, and encamped at Ebronah. And they departed from Ebronah, and encamped at Ezon-Geber. They removed from Ezon-Geber, and pitched in the wilderness of Zin, which is Kadesh. And they removed from Kadesh, and pitched in Mount Hor, in the edge of the land of Edom. And Aaron the priest went up into Mount Hor at the commandment of the Lord, and died there. In the 40th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, in the first day of the 5th month. And Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor. And King Arad the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south of the land of Canaan, heard the coming of the children of Israel. So they departed from Mount Hor, and pitched in Zalmonah. And they departed from Zalmonah, and pitched in Punon. And they departed from Punon, and pitched in Oboth. And they departed from Oboth, and pitched in Ijerbaim, in the border of Moab. And they departed from Elim, and pitched in Dibongad. They removed from Dibongad, and encamped in Almond Bilathaim. And they removed from Almond Bilathaim, and pitched in the mountains of Abiram before Nebo. And they departed from the mountains of Abiram, and pitched on the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. They pitched by Jordan from Beth-Jemoth, even unto Abel-Shittim, in the plains of Moab. And the Lord spake unto Moses in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye are passed over Jordan into the land of Canaan, then ye shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and destroy all their all their pictures, and destroy all their molten images, and quite pluck down all their high places, and ye shall dispossess the inhabitants of the land, and will dwell therein, for I have given you the land to possess it. And ye shall divide the land by a lot for an inheritance among your families. And to the more ye shall give the more inheritance, and to the fewer ye shall give the less inheritance. Every man's inheritance shall be in the place where his lot falleth, according to the tribes of your fathers shall ye inherit. But if ye will not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that whose which ye let remain of them shall be pricks in your eyes, and thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherein ye dwell. Moreover, it shall come to pass that I shall do unto you as I thought to do unto them. Wow, this is very, these last two verses are very important. They don't listen. Obviously, we know this. They do not listen to God here, and they don't completely wipe out the inhabitants of the land, which makes them fall into so many great and evil sins. And it says here, it will come to pass that I shall do unto you as I thought to do unto them, meaning God is going to do exactly to the children of Israel what he's going to do to the original inhabitants of the land, which he wants to wipe out because of their evil and wickedness. And we see, if you read the Bible already, you know that God is going to do this to the children of Israel because they fall away. They don't listen to God and they fall into temptation. So it's sad, but it's also prophecy that we see come to pass so we can trust in God fully with our lives. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you guys have a great evening, morning, new wherever you're at. Remember to put God first in everything you do. Have faith in Him, trust in Him, wait upon Him. Be in the Word daily, and you'll never be sorry. And God willingly, we'll see you tomorrow with more Bible reading. So, thanks again. Take care, and God bless.